Hello dear students, welcome to the lecture 2 on the chapter Ray Optics and Optical Instruments. Students, in lecture 1 we discussed about reflection and few terms related with reflection at spherical mirrors. In this lecture we are going to discuss on Cartesian sign convention, relation between focal length and radius of spherical mirror, and nature of images formed by concave and convex mirror. Now, let us discuss these points one by one. Cartesian sign convention. Question is, what is the use of studying Cartesian sign convention? Okay, it will be easy to understand the refraction phenomena on spherical surface, and with the help of sign convention we can also tell the nature of image formed by the mirror. Okay, now let us see the sign conventions. For this I am considering a concave mirror, and line passing through center and pole is called principal axis. Okay, here all the distances, all the horizontal distances are measured from the pole and along the principal axis of the mirror. That means for all horizontal distances, P is the, or pole is the initial point. Pole is the initial point. Okay, this is first point, you should remember. Second one, okay, if I consider the direction of incident light towards the mirror, then all the distances measured along the direction of incident light are taken as positive. All the distances measured along the direction of incident light, are taken as positive. Next one, all the distances measured opposite to the direction of incident light. See, the direction of incident light is along this direction, and we are measuring the distances opposite to the direction of incident light. Hence, these distances are taken as negative. The heights upward with respect to principal axis are taken as positive. That is, the heights above the principal axis, perpendicular to principal axis, are taken as positive, and the heights downward to the principal axis are taken as negative. That is, the heights below the principal axis are taken as negative. Okay, these are the sign conventions, or these are called as Cartesian sign conventions. Next, okay, let us see what are paraxial rays. Okay, already we know the definition of rays. Ray is nothing but it is the representation of path travelled by the light. Paraxial rays, the rays which are very close to principal axis and which makes a very small angle with principal axis, are called paraxial rays. Okay, here in the diagram these rays represent paraxial rays. Okay, these rays are very close to principal axis and they make small angle with principal axis. Hence, these rays are called as paraxial rays. Okay, now let us derive the relation between focal length and radius of curvature of the spherical mirror. For this, I am going to consider a concave mirror with center C, focal length F, and radius of curvature R respectively. Okay, this is concave mirror, and the line passing through center of curvature and pole is principal axis. Okay, this line will act as principal axis, and C is the center of curvature, P is pole of the mirror, and F is principal focus. Okay, don't get confused with principal focus and focal length. Okay, principal focus is the point where the rays converge on principal axis. Focal length is the distance between the principal focus and pole of the mirror. Now consider a parallel ray striking on the mirror at point M, and after reflection it passes through principal focus. See, this ray is parallel and it is coming from infinity, and after striking on the mirror it passes through principal focus. Okay, this OM is called as incident ray and EMF is called as a reflected ray. Now draw a normal at point M which passes through center of curvature. Here CM is normal at point M to the mirror. Let theta be the angle of incidence, since these rays obeys laws of reflection, hence angle of reflection is also equal to theta. Now angle OMC and MCP are alternate angle, hence angle MCP is also equal to theta. Now angle OMF is equal to 2 theta. See, theta plus theta is equal to 2 theta, and angle MFP is alternate to angle OMF, hence angle MFP is also equal to 2 theta. Now draw a perpendicular at point D on the principal axis. Okay, now this is the brief description about the given ray diagram. Okay, let angle MCP is equal to theta and angle MFP is equal to 2 theta. Now consider a triangle MCD. Consider a triangle MCD, and this triangle is right angle triangle, hence tan theta is equal to MD divided by CD. Opposite divided by adjacent. MD is opposite and CD is adjacent. Let this equation be 1. Consider another triangle MFD. Even this triangle is right angle triangle, hence tan 2 theta is equal to MD divided by FD. Okay, let this equation be 2. For paraxial rays, theta is very small, hence tan theta is equal to theta and tan 2 theta is equal to 2 theta. Now putting these values in equation 1 and 2, equation 1 and 2 becomes theta is equal to MD divided by CD and 2 theta is equal to MD divided by FD. Now divide theta by 2 theta, we get theta divided by 2 theta is equal to MD divided by CD whole divided by MD divided by FD. That is equal to MD divided by CD into FD divided by MD. Now cancel theta and theta on left hand side, and only 1 by 2 remains, and cancel MD on right hand side, and only FD and CD remains. Therefore FD by CD is equal to 1 by 2. Okay, let this equation be 3. Now from the diagram it is known that FD is approximately equal to FP. Why it is approximately equal to FP? Because aperture is very small, the distance between D and P will be negligible, hence we are assuming that FD is approximately equal to FP, that is equal to focal length, and CD is approximately equal to CP, that is equal to R. Putting these values in equation number 3, equation 3 becomes F by R is equal to 1 by 2. Therefore F is equal to R divided by 2. Okay, this is the relation between focal length and radius of curvature of mirror. Okay, by this we come to know that focal length of the mirror, spherical mirror, is half of the radius of curvature of the spherical mirror. Okay, next, rays to be considered for image formation. Okay, we cannot take all the rays. For image formation we should consider at least minimum 2 rays, and let us see which all rays we can consider. Okay, for this I am taking concave mirror, and this is principal axis. C is the center, P is the pole of the mirror, and F is the focus. And AB is point object. Okay, AB is the object placed beyond C. And I am going to take the rays from point A. And the same thing will be applied for all the points between A and B. Between A and B. Whatever the rays I am taking, the rays are coming only from point A. Okay, first ray. A ray incident on mirror parallel to principal axis. That is, a ray, first ray is parallel to principal axis, and after reflection it passes through principal focus. Okay, this is first ray. And second ray passes through center of curvature. Passes through center of curvature for concave mirror, or appearing to pass through it for convex mirror. Okay, this is the second ray I am considering that passes through center of curvature of the mirror, and after reflection it retraces its path. Okay, it moves in the same path but in opposite direction. Third ray I am considering, okay, it is incidenting at pole with any angle. The ray is incidenting at pole with any angle, and this ray obeys law of reflection, hence it passes along this direction. Okay, here I have considered 3 rays, and all these 3 rays are coming from point A, and these are meeting at this point, and an image is formed, and that image is A dash B dash. Okay, same thing, see, we are getting this point. If the rays are coming from here, we may get all these 3 rays may converge somewhere here. That's why I am showing the linear size of the image. Okay, these are the few rays which has to be considered for the formation of image by the mirror. Okay, next, nature of images formed by concave and convex mirror. Okay, there are 2 nature of images. One is real image and other one is virtual image. Okay, let us see what is real image and what is virtual image. Okay, real image. Real means actually we are getting the image. If the rays from the point actually meet at another point after reflection, see, if the rays are coming from the point and if they actually meet at another point after reflection, that point is called real image. See, we have a diagram here, and rays are coming from this point and they are meeting at this point. Hence, this image is called real image. Virtual image. The rays from a point do not actually meet but appears to diverge from that point when produced backward, and that point is called virtual image. See here, the rays are coming from this point and they are getting diverged. When you produce backwards and these rays meet somewhere here, and this image, and that means the image is formed here, and this image is called virtual image. Virtual image. I hope you are cleared with real and virtual image. Okay, next let us see the nature of images formed by concave mirror. Okay, we can divide principal axis into 3 regions for real object. Okay, this is the mirror, and this point is pole, and this one is principal focus, and this point is center of curvature. I am going to divide this into 3 parts. One is beyond C, and second region is between C and F, and third one is between F and P. Okay, now when the object is at infinity, suppose if the object is placed at infinity, the image is formed at focus. If the object is placed at infinity, the image is formed at focus and magnification is 0. Image is inverted. Image is inverted. Second one, when the object is beyond C, that means if the object is placed between infinity and center of curvature, then the image is formed between center of curvature and principal focus. Okay, if the object is placed beyond C, image is formed between C and F. The image is real, inverted and diminished. Magnification. Third one, when the object is placed at C, that means when the object is placed at the center of the curvature, the image is also formed at the center of the curvature. When the object is placed at C, image is also formed at C. Magnification is equal to 1. That means the size of the image is equal to size of the object. Image is real, inverted. When the object lies between C and F, when the object is placed between center of curvature and principal focus, then the image is formed beyond C. Image is formed beyond C. The image is real, inverted and magnified. That means the size of the image is larger than the size of the object. When the object is placed at F, if the object is placed at principal focus, the image is formed at infinity. Image is formed at infinity. The image is inverted, real and highly magnified. It will be very large. When the object lies between F and P, when the object lies between F and P, the image is formed behind the mirror. Image is formed behind the mirror. Image is virtual, erect and magnified. Virtual, erect and magnified. As the object moves towards the pole, magnification goes on decreasing and becomes unity at pole. Nature of images formed by convex mirror. Okay, here I am going to take only one region, that is between infinity and P. When the object is placed at infinity, the image is formed at focus. The image is formed at focus. The image is virtual and magnification is 0 and it is erect. When the object is placed in region 1, that means if the object is placed in front of mirror at any position, the image is formed behind mirror and the image is virtual, erect and small. As the object moves towards the mirror, even magnification increases and becomes unity at pole. By this we come to know that for convex mirror, if the object is placed anywhere front of mirror, we get virtual image, and for concave mirror we get both virtual image and real image. Thank you, students. We shall study some more topics on this chapter in the next lecture.